For almost 30 years, Voller Law Firm has been winning serious injury and death cases for clients. They have collected millions of dollars on behalf of their clients and belong to the prestigious $1 Million Advocates Forum. When insurance or a wrongdoer won't pay for what they took from you, go with an award-winning firm with a track record of results. At Voller Law Firm, results matter. Make sure you go with lawyers that have the experience, ability, and financial power to hold those that hurt you accountable. Put your trust in Voller Law Firm. Give them a call at 662-323-0083.
You're listening to Thunder and Lightning on SuperTalk Mississippi, covering Mississippi State sports like nobody else. With Sports Talk Mississippi's Brian Hadad and Robbie Faulk of On3 Sports. Now get ready for Thunder and Lightning.
This is Thunder and Lightning here on Super Talk Mississippi. Brian Hadad and Robbie Faulk here with you on a Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us here at supertalk.fm or wherever it is that you get podcasts from. We appreciate you guys out there, our great listeners, especially our servicemen and women out there taking care of us. I want to thank our sponsors over at Strange Brew Coffee House and Churn and Spoon Ice Cream. Start your day the right way with a trip to the drive-thru over at Strange Brew Coffee House here in Starkville or at Brupolo over in Tupelo. It'd be a little weird, Robbie, if Brupolo was in Hapaka.
Oh, that'd be a little weird.
I don't know about that one. H-O, I'm sure it is. Hopoca. A Choctaw name, it means either distant or one who picks or grazes. So when I go to the buffet, I'm
That's
a Hapaka.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
That
if I come to your tailgate.
This is what Brian does at the Golden Corral.
Yeah, I'm a Golden Corral Hapaka.
He's a Hapaka over the Chocolate Wonderful. In the slices of prime.
Yeah, when I go to somebody's tailgate, I don't like to make a plate. I prefer to Hapaka.
There you go.
There you go. Wherever you are in our great state, you can enjoy Strange Brew Coffee each and every week. It's just a click away at strangebrewcoffeehouse.com. The Mississippi Beef Council wants to remind you that beef, it is what's for dinner. If you're cooking out this weekend, nothing beats the sizzle of beef on the grill. An off weekend for Mississippi State football. There's no excuse to not be outside cooking. The weather's going to be fantastic, mid-80s, sunny. Fire up the grill and enjoy a great weekend of barbecue with beef. Beef, it's what's for dinner, thanks to our friends, the Mississippi Beef Council. College Corner, collegecornerstore.com is the place to find the maroon and white merchandise that you are looking for, and you are looking for it. You need new gear. I don't know if you can get that sweet Rudy versus Duty shirt that Robbie Faulk's rocking right this second. That's from the 2021 Super Regional, I assume?
That is.
Yeah, very nice.
They gave me the shirt for free just for saying, hey, guys, go get the shirt.
I wish I had been given a notice of that. I would have taken one.
Didn't your cousin or somebody come up with this thing and they gave a cease and desist and then they ended up making their own shirt or something?
It's possible. It's very possible. So
I remember. I think that this thing came out on the message board on Six Pack or someplace.
Yeah.
And somebody was like, "Yeah, let's do this." They're like, "No, you can't do that. It's trademarked."
But now, there it is.
Yeah.
Well, you can't get that.
As you know me, I do not get rid of shirts until I can't fit in them or they disintegrate.
Yeah, you have some old shirts.
I do have some very old shirts.
So you have an old Rick's Rowdy shirt, don't you?
I've
seen you wear it.
I have about 3 of those.
Yeah. So I mean, that's at best that's 14 years old.
Yeah, and I have shirts that are 20 plus.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you need new,
I finally had I bought a shirt. It was a game day shirt from Alabama, Mississippi State, 2006.
Ooh.
And I had that shirt. I actually wore it on my wedding day. If you watch my wedding, I'm dancing with Becky, the first dance, and you can see it through my suit. And it's Mississippi State versus Alabama, the border war or whatever like that. And that shirt has literally disintegrated. It just started falling apart into dust.
I got you.
That might be my oldest.
Well, if you need a new shirt, Robbie, the place to go is College Corner. 2 locations in the Jackson area. Original by Fleet Feet, Flow by the Half Shell. Or you can shop online, collegecornerstore.com. Restaurant Tyler, Starkville's flagship restaurant. For lunch, dinner, or Sunday brunch, the best meal in town is at Restaurant Tyler. I was just driving through downtown. And I know the traffic situation is bad. There's really nowhere to park in front of Restaurant Tyler. But there's plenty of parking downtown. Don't let that construction situation keep you away from the best blue plate in the state of Mississippi. Find a place to park and then make just, you need the steps. You got to the walk back to your car burns off the calories. That's how I'm going to look at it. Go get a great lunch today downtown at Restaurant Tyler. Priority One Bank, 16 locations here to serve you throughout Central Mississippi. Let PriorityOneBank.com be your guide. They'll show you how not only they're going to help you invest and manage your money, but how they're going to help you prepare for the future. Now more than ever, when you have questions about your money, you need answers. You need to talk to somebody who knows you as well as they know your money. That's the good people at Priority One Bank. Let Priority One Bank make you their priority. We are in the bye week. It's the off week, really, but we call it the bye week because the bye week blitz sounds better than the off week blitz. Every year for the past, I don't know, we've been doing this for quite a while now. We take this time to talk about some of the other sports as they're getting ready to start up or maybe a little ways off. 2 bye weeks this year. So when we get to November, we'll talk baseball and softball. But we are talking tomorrow to Ace Reese. So we will talk some baseball tomorrow. But today is basketball. And let's start on the women's side of things. Since I got the state's foremost expert on women's basketball here on the podcast with me, I might as well tap into that well of knowledge. But before we talk to Robbie, let's talk to Coach Sam Purcell about his team. All interviews, both our interviews today, will be brought to you by Allura Modern Wellness, who want to remind you that if you party a little too hard this weekend and you need to get some hydration therapy going, then they've got you taken care of. They've got the hydrogen IVs ready for you to work. Obviously, it's just a weekend thing right now, but they're checking into that. And if you can continue to, if the demand is there, they're gonna make it an everyday thing. I mean, hey, look, if you're out, I mean, I'll just be honest with you, you're out getting hammered on a Monday night. Well, that's your choice. But just know that Tuesday morning you can make the trip over to Allura Modern Wellness if we get get the demand up a little bit. But whatever it is you're looking to do to recover, to feel better, Allura Modern Wellness is there for you. Give them a call today at 662-268-9255, or you can book anything you want to do online at AlluraModernWellness.com. All right, first interview of the day is with Coach Sam Purcell. The Bye Week Blitz is back for another year. No football, so let's switch it over to hoops. Just about a month away from the start of the season for women's basketball here at Mississippi State. Coach Sam Purcell joins me, as he always is so kind to do at this time of year. You know, when you came to Mississippi State, you know that your reputation was elite recruiter. You are a recruiter. And now we're in a year where, I mean, recruiting means so much more than maybe it even did 10 years ago. Do you feel like this is the era that Sam Purcell was built for?
Wow. Yes and no, right? I think when you look at the last 4 years, a lot of the kids I got was because I recruited so hard at Louisville that when those young women went to their second and third schools, I had an opportunity to get them because I had established relationships. And then obviously this part of my journey in year 4, it's different. Because I'm the head coach. So, there's only so many recruits in the portal and getting ahead that you can. So we're all just trying to find a way and, recruit regionally. And then most importantly, find the ones that identify to go to school here for the right reasons.
When you think about your roster and how many new faces you have this year, as a coach, do you have to change the way you want to do things in terms of like, hey, offensively, we'd like to run these sets, but I have the players to run these sets? Do you have to change a little bit of what you are as a coach?
100%. It is to your point. I read a tweet that was out the other day that there were 60 teams in women's basketball that had 6 or more transfers. So all of us across the country obviously have a model that we want to play to. But with the craziness of college athletics, it's about finding the right young ladies. And what I'm committed to, instead of putting them in a box and saying playing this way or the highway, is what did I get? Obviously I've got great young women, but what do they do well? And me adapting to showcase what they do well so we can put a winning product on the floor.
I saw a thing recently. It said you have to, as a coach, you have to look at players, not plays. Is that what you're trying to get at there?
100%. You have to. I think people who don't adapt, you see it all the time right now. I mean, we're losing football coaches across the country like I've never seen before. The window to win is magnified, so you better adapt and put a winning product on the floor, or else you'll be in the portal.
The coach's portal is a little different than the players' one. What's the biggest challenge of having to construct? This isn't just a couple of players here and there. You had to construct an entirely new roster. There's a ton of challenges in there. What's the biggest one?
Relationships. right? I think at the end of the day, just like anything in corporate America, there's no difference. If you believe in somebody, especially your boss, and you know that they have their best interest for you, you'll run through a wall for them. And there's going to be days that are good and bad, but if you have that love and that bond, you can overcome things, and it's earning their trust and trying to microwave it as quick as possible before opening day.
I like that term, microwave it. I like that. When you have a new group like this, obviously, chemistry is going to have to be a concern, at least coming into the season. From those of us outside your building, how do you feel like your group has meshed to this point?
Yeah, so I couldn't be more happy with this group in year 4 as far as their character. Not that I had bad kids before, but I've really got some great young women who come from great families, great AAU and high school programs where that meshing has been great, but you can't replace true live experience. We have our first close scrimmage next week, which will be a great sounding board of where we're at. And then I got the same model that I used last year. We got to fail fast. And we got to learn quick because especially in this age group from 18 to 24, sometimes you're hearing these 26-year-old kids that are still in college.
We're calling a 26-year-old a kid, Coach. Come on now.
I know, right? The NCAA is finally cleaning that up. But we sometimes the best way for young women to learn is after failure. And that's where I'm always, the best coach is now I got you because everybody thinks their way is the right way until failure occurs. And that's what we're striving for is to chase perfection, but at the same time, learn from our mistakes so we can be ready on opening day.
How tough is that, though, to teach from failure? Because a failure is and I think of it as it's a loss. And, when losses start to pile up, that's not a good thing. How hard is that to do?
It's hard, but I think that's where the relationship piece comes in. If they understand where I'm trying to take them, there's 2 non-negotiables in my program. It's attitude and effort. And if you have the right attitude, I've been in this business too long, you got a fighter's chance night in and night out because you're just determined to win. And so that's what I'm trying to help poke the bear is what do I truly have? It's easy to practice when there's nothing on the line and you think you got this kid. But I'm trying to do time and score situations and put them in tough winning opportunities because I want to see who my dogs are. I want to see who's going to rise to the occasion, but most importantly, take on a leadership role and learn a lot about my team.
So I love asking this next question to coaches who lose a star player. So what's tougher to replace, Jakaila Jordan's production or Jakaila Jordan's leadership?
Woo! Wow, you're bringing the smoke today on an off week.
I don't get to talk to you too often. I got to go when I go.
Yeah, I'd say both, right? I just keep it real. But this is the beauty of sports, and this is what I try to tell my young women, especially this year. I don't think we're going to get any love come SEC Media Day. I love it, right? I've already told them I don't think any of you are going to get voted all SEC. I love it. I want you to have a chip. I want you to be a dog because you know what we have on opening day? Opportunity. And when people are prepared for their opportunity, then all those things that you just asked me about Jakaila Jordan will create a new Jakaila Jordan because of the opportunity ahead.
So how much do you have to rely on your veterans, Destiny McFall and Chandler Prater, the players who have been here and done it with you? They understand the culture of Mississippi State women's basketball that you've tried to instill. How much do you have to rely on them, especially in the first few weeks of the season?
Yeah, so the first 8 weeks of the summer was a lot. Just to your point, just of what the expectations, where the guidance was. But again, I have so many new pieces. We actually did something different this year. I had a board of directors, right? Because there's some kids who come in that naturally listen on the first day that have leadership qualities. So our board of directors are Sanai King, Chandler, and Favor. Nothing against Destiny. Destiny's going to have a tremendous year, but you want to hurry and not get caught up on last year because there's not that many people from returning from last year. So my focus and our staff's focus has been immediately turning the energy to the people who are here this year, and let's put a new team together.
When you think about this team, let's start with the point guard position. How does that position look here in the preseason? Who are the names we need to know?
Yeah, great question. So you got Sanaya King, who as a freshman last year was the player of the year out of Howard. All right. She was second in the country as a freshman in assists. So the young lady can flat out run a team. She'll be backed up by Awa, who was a junior college All-American. So really, really happy in that position at the point guard spot.
And then in the post, some new faces there as well. When I look at your roster, you've got a lot of size there, but how are those young ladies going to perform for you?
Yeah, so great question. So our strength coach came up to me the other day and actually told me an interesting fact. We are not taller than last year's team, but if you take our wingspan, we're longer than last year's team. So we're trying to do a lot of things that are going to, you'll see this year trapping to create turnovers, doubling out of the post so that we can use that long length. We have a new post player in Favor that I'm already calling will be a fan favorite. The young lady is from Africa, went to college in Japan. And so we'll have 2 years here right now. If the NCAA doesn't come out with a 5th year, that's a whole nother
They might come out with an 8th, 9th, 10th year the way we're going, Coach.
Yeah, so right now I'm guaranteed 2 years,
yeah.
possibly 3, right? But she has a personality that just lights up a room. And then you've got Faith and Rocio who are fighting for those role minutes. And then I've got the young lady who came from the school up north, all right, who made a smart decision to come down here south in Mississippi State that started off at Auburn, went to the school up north, and then is down here right now in Rich, who's got an unbelievable Charles Barkley motor that you'll see a lot of production. And then a name that our fans already saw on Twitter on signing day is Madison Francis, a young lady that did a dunk that I still have never seen in my 20 years of coaching that has a ability to just jump out of the gym. That'll be fun to watch.
You mentioned Favor. Do you enjoy the international piece of recruiting?
I do, especially here, all right, because Mississippi State's special. Starkville's a special community, and not everybody can live here. You can't. But for the foreign kids who come here, there's an appreciation of life that you can't even explain. The amount of our fan base that decides to be an extension of their family and be a host family. The food. They can't quit talking about the food. Hey, everybody, right?
Yeah.
Especially them. But then the last but not least is the support. When these young women go to the soccer game, which Nick's doing a great job, volleyball, she's off to a great start, and then just feeling the love through social media because they haven't experienced a home game, they can't get over how we value women's sports. So it's really fun to recruit those international kids.
So you got about, 3-4 weeks to the start of this college basketball season. What is the thing you've got to see from your team in the remaining practices for you to know we're where I want us to be?
Yeah, effort. Again, I want dogs, right? I talked about it. I embrace the beauty of this job. I took it for a reason. It got to the highest of highs, but also embrace the people who don't think we're going to win, just like we did last year. And you got to do it by effort. We got to roll up our sleeves. We got to outwork people, and we got to play together. And these kids who are transferring, some of them are on their 3rd school. They played a certain way the first 2 schools, but we ain't playing that way here. So I'm challenging them like no other to flat out get after it. Don't be worried about making mistakes. We'll clean those things up, but I'm demanding effort from the first day.
Last question. So today on the podcast, we do like a Twitter mailbag, right? And people just send me and Robbie Faulk just a bunch of random questions. So
that's scary.
Yeah, so I'm just going to ask you one. What is your favorite Halloween candy?
Wow. M&M's all day, every day.
Now, is it just plain, or are we going peanut butter?
Peanut butter, baby. Amen.
That's the GOAT M&M. You and I are. I knew I liked you, Sam. There's a reason we're friends, so I appreciate it. Coach Sam Purcell, Mississippi State women's basketball. Like I said, season starts very, very soon. Always appreciate your time, man. Thanks so much.
Hey, no, thank you. And to the fans, real quick, man, I need you. Opening day, Davidson. They're legit. Let's pack this thing out.
Let's do it. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
So, Robbie, he kind of hints about it in that interview, but there's a legitimate chance this is the preseason 16th place team in the SEC.
They could be on there. Missouri could be there, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they're going to be inside the top 10.
Right.
And that's just the nature of the beast that you have now in the SEC, but it's also where Mississippi State is. It's a program. The offseason was really tough on Sam Purcell in this program. I thought they made a lot of progress. The team that they had, there was a lot there that you could see for potential for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you bring back Medina Okad and Denham DeShields and Debrisha Poe and some of these players, if they're back, near Montague, you put those players that you have that have now been here for multiple years with the 3 4-star freshmen and fill it with a transfer portal player or two. This is a team that I think could have been top 8 in the SEC. But for the second, even kind of the third year in a row, Sam is having to completely redo this roster for the most part. He's bringing back 3 players from last year's team. 2 of them were contributors, and Chandler Prather and Destiny McFall, and it's tough. This is the state of basketball and the state of college sports now. Every team seems to be dealing with it. A lot more teams than not. There's some teams that are able to retain their roster and kind of keep things from year to year, but players just don't stay where they're at anymore.
Right.
And so that's the difficult thing. They had to make sure that they savored what they could, and they were able to keep Destiny McFall and Chandler Prather, and good on them for sticking it out and continuing. It's just it's kind of puzzling. This team has been, no matter the roster, no matter the turnover, whatever, Sam Purcell has found a way to get this team in postseason every single year. And I know there's been some detractors out there, people that don't believe in him, people that don't think he's a good coach, whatever. Whatever your opinion is, this man has done what hasn't been done most of Mississippi State's existence in women's basketball. And that's get to the NCAA tournament now 2 out of 3 years, get to postseason all 3 years, win 20-plus games every year. That just hasn't happened. I know he's being compared to Vic Schaefer, but to this point, results-wise, in his first 3 years, he's had the best first 3 years of a coach ever at Mississippi State. And he's done it essentially with replacing a roster
every year.
Yeah. And so this is another tremendous challenge, and I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I felt this way about this team last year, though. I did not know what to expect from that team last year. Medina Okot was a complete unknown at that time. She came in and had never played on this level and hasn't played in the States. You kind of got that with Favor now, who you bring in that's very similar, maybe even a little more athletic. So what does she add to?
I don't know what the competition level was like in the Nigerian league that she played in, but she averaged 26 and 17.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could do that playing against 8-year-olds, to be honest with you.
And played in Japan.
Yeah.
Played in Japan, too. So she's played, all over the world. She's seen different styles of basketball. It'll be interesting to see what she does. They're counting on her being a big piece of things, and she needs to be, because you don't have a massive post presence with this team. They need her to have a Medina Okot type season. She needs to come in here and make that kind of impact. And if she does that, then you have a competitive ball club, because I think they will have some guards. I really like Destiny McFall. I thought she came on late last year.
Played well.
I think Treyana Crisp is going to be a good piece for them. I think that Madison Francis is going to be asked to do a lot as a true freshman. I think Jayla Lampley is going to be asked to do a lot as well. So there's just a lot of things that have to come together for this team. But expectations from around the league, I imagine, are going to be pretty low for them.
He talked a lot about Sanaya King coming in from Howard, right?
Yes.
Because I asked him about the point guard. By the way, I want to give another shout out real quick. You guys know me. I follow the women's basketball team, but not as closely, obviously, as the man across from me here. So I did ask. I was like, "Hey, can I get some questions?" And he did hook me up with some. And one of them, he's like, "Ask about the point guards."
I was your ghostwriter.
You kind of were in this situation. I'll be happy to give you credit. But he's very high on her and thinks that can be the leader this team needs at the point position. What do you think about her?
Yeah, I like her competitive nature. I mean, she wasn't unhappy at Howard, but she said, "I want to challenge." And so she went in the transfer portal, and she's looking to play in the SEC. I was impressed with her today. We talked to her today at interviews. We talked to several players, and she was one of the representatives there. We talked to Treyana Crisp. We talked to Jayla Lampley, and we talked to Destiny McFall. And they're going to ask a lot of her. She's running the point. She's going to be the one out front. Good numbers last year as a young player. So we'll see. This is a big jump going from Howard to this stage is a big, big jump. And she's going to have to be mentally and physically prepared for that. And she seems to be ready for that challenge. So that's going to be an important piece for Mississippi State this year. If they want to have a chance to win big, they really need her to come out and have a good season running the point.
Yeah. Should be a very interesting year because, as you mentioned, Purcell has kind of done this before, right? He started with nothing and ended up in the NCAA tournament, and we're going to see if he can do it again. Going to be, if nothing else, with Purcell, it'll be exciting. We'll hear about it. So
it will not be a dull moment.
Never is. All right. Let's switch over to the men's side of things after this. Let's move into that, and that's brought to you by our friends over at Two Brothers Smoke Meats and the Older Brother. Robbie and I were talking about this today. Like, you go to the Cotton District, and, there's just so much stuff down there that's just not open for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
But every Tuesday through Sunday, Two Brothers and the Older Brother are there for you. So you know full well that if you park your car in the Cotton District, you can always go eat at Two Brothers. You can always go eat at the Older Brother, and you should. Two of the best places to eat in town. And if you're going to be in town this weekend, you want to watch college football, there's not really a better spot in Starkville than Two Brothers. Plenty of TVs, and the food, you just can't beat it. Head over to the Cotton District, Two Brothers Smoke Meats and the Older Brother. Great products, great service. Every business likes to promise it to you. They deliver it to you at Advantage Business Systems. You think they've been doing that for a long time? It's been 50 years.
Did you say 50?
50.
50.
I said 50.
Yeah.
When you need technology.
All right.
All right.
50 it is.
So be it. If you need technology for your business, give Advantage Business Systems a call. Get the copier, the printer, computers that you're looking for. But get the guarantee that if something does go wrong, you've got a phone number you can call, a person that you know, somebody you've talked to before on the other side of the line, and then get you taken care of. A lot of times the same day because you're in Mississippi and they're in Mississippi. You don't have to wait around. You can't afford to wait around. That's why you want to deal with Advantage Business Systems. 601-362-9192 or visit them online, absms.com. Find out how Advantage Business Systems will help your business do business. Before you go to Davis-Wade Stadium, before you head to the next Mississippi State sporting event, when you're in Starkville, make sure you've made a trip to Maroon & Co. Check out their incredible selection of Mississippi State merchandise. Nobody in Starkville with a bigger or better selection of maroon and white than the good people over at Maroon & Co. And you can use the website if you're not going to be in Starkville, maroonandco.com. And both places, in-store or online, you can use our promo code. Thunder15 will take 15% off the top of any regular price order. Some exclusions do apply. What are those exclusions? I don't know. Who are you? What am I? What's anything in this world? Just know that if you're looking for Mississippi State gear, the place to go is Maroon & Co. If you're going to be out in the yard this weekend, we're running out of days to mow. I get it. The cold weather will be here before we know it. While you've still got time, get that John Deere commercial mower out there and get that lawn looking its absolute best with a trip to Scruggs Farm, Lawn, and Garden. Whatever you're looking for, John Deere Green, they've got it. Commercial mowers, compact tractors, side-by-sides, gators, they've got it all. And the best of all, they've got great financing available and great pricing available. And if your credit is good, bad, or somewhere in between, you can get a great deal. Sometimes 0% financing, sometimes up to 60 months right there at Scruggs. Scruggs Farm, Lawn, and Garden in Saltillo. They have what you want for less. Are you looking for land right now? It's good to own land, I've been told. Robbie, you're a landowner.
I am a landowner.
Well,
I'm not looking to
I
buy any right now.
Robbie Faulk
I'm looking to make money.
Yeah. Robbie Faulk right now, he's all landed out. But if you're in the market for land, if you need someone who can help you get the most out of your land and timber, you need to talk to the good people at Good Hope Land and Timber. They specialize in helping landowners like Robbie make smart, sustainable decisions. They have years of experience in forestry and land management, and they are your full-service land and timber company. From timber and land purchasing to plantation thinning, timber management, development, harvesting, their team handles it all safely, efficiently, and sustainably. These are good Mississippi State folks. I suggest if you are in the business right now of trying to get land and timber taken care of, you call Good Hope Land and Timber. Locally trusted, landowner approved. All right. Got Purcell. Let's go over to Jans. I talked earlier this week to Coach Chris Jans about his team and about some of his players and about how to replace the irreplaceable Cam Matthews. Let's go down to my interview with Coach Chris Jans, which again is brought to you by Allura Modern Wellness. It is the Bye Week Blitz. We're talking Mississippi State men's basketball with Coach Chris Jans. I got you pre-practice this time. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's a better time. I'll be chippier and happier and more energized and probably in a better mood too.
I appreciate that. Thank you for joining me as always. When you look at your upcoming season and the roster that you've put together, it looks on paper a little different than the roster you had a season ago. When you went into this portal cycle, were you looking for a different style of player than you were a season ago? Did you change how you wanted to make your team up?
I don't think it's any secret for those that really paid attention to us last year and our state fans and followed along in our journey that we were better offensively than we'd been in previous years. Just, most people could see that, but the numbers vetted it out as well. But we lost too much on the defensive end, and we kind of wanted to get back to our roots a little bit and make sure we were mindful of not just expecting guys to buy into defense and toughness and rebounding, that we had to recruit it a little bit as well, and certainly try to get them better at all facets of the game once they arrive. So we wanted to get bigger around the basket and have more of a defensive presence that way. And, time will tell, but that was kind of our mentality as we headed into the recruiting season, especially in the spring, once the season was over and the dust settled, who was coming back.
So before we get into the guys who are here, let's talk about one guy who's not here anymore. In the movie Moneyball, they talk about recreating in the aggregate. Do you have to recreate Cam Matthews in the aggregate? Because I think it would be very difficult to find a player who did everything that he did for your team.
First of all, you got to use terms that I understand, man. Like JUCO coach. That's going to be really hard to replace him. He's been a stalwart for me and our program since I've arrived. He was sitting in the room when I showed up on press conference day, and our relationship grew every day since then. And his position on our team and our program certainly grew every season as well, from, a starter to, a main guy to obviously, being kind of the leader of our team, a captain of our team, and someone that, everybody followed. And that's a lot for anyone to just take over, if you will. So first we got to try to, just get some guys on the team to replicate some of the things that he did on the floor. But, Cam was unique. Cam was unique in being a two-way player for us and our style of play. I mean, being able to basically be positionless defensively and then turning into an old school point forward for us as well with the decision-making and being in that lead guard spot. So I don't think we have anyone that's going to just walk in his shoes, and we're going to have to try to reconstruct, how we do things on both ends in his absence.
So I'm pretty sure a year ago, one of the questions I asked you was, what does Josh Hubbard need to add to his game, or what can Josh Hubbard add to his game? I want to change that question up just a little bit. What do you need Josh Hubbard to add to his game?
Great question. And I need him to continue to buy in to being a very good defender. When he first got here, it was more, I needed him to spell defense, to understand that it's on the other end of the court, that, 50% of the time when I'm on the court, that's my responsibility to play on that end too. But he certainly progressed that way. He is in a much better place defensively than he ever has. The timing of this interview, I mean, he's had the best stretch of practices, in my opinion, that he's ever had from a 10,000-foot view, not points scored, but just everything, every facet, even including leadership. He's been off the chain. And if it continues, knock on wood, it's going to bode well for all of us. So, I'm always going to talk about that with him because, like all players, we got strengths and weaknesses. Josh is no different. And so he's got to make up for some limitations by being ahead of the play mentally, being in perfect position all the time, his motor being running all the time, trusting the technique that he has learned 2+ years now, going into his third season, and it's happening. It's happening. It's getting into his DNA where it's a regular deal of him being that guy on both ends of the floor. And then certainly offensively, people will see him, but he's even better. Like he's his shot selection has changed a little bit. He's better off the bounce. He's stronger than he's ever been. He's certainly playing both on and off the ball like he always has. But I think even going into his third year, he's going to be a better version of what we've seen thus far.
You added a player, and I'm going to try to pronounce it correctly. And if I'm not, I want you to get me. But Sergej Makura from Serbia. How close did I get?
Sergey
Makura. All right. Yeah. Stefan Krasnick, our buddy, will be mad that I got that wrong since he's Serbian. I saw this is like a thing around the league this year, though. There's a lot of Europeans coming into the league. I know Ole Miss got a guy from France. I think Auburn and Alabama both added a European player. Is that a next step for rosters? Are you going to see more of this? And do you enjoy the international flavor of recruiting?
A lot of questions. First, this isn't a question, but I want to make sure I get this right. It's pronounced Sergey, but his nickname is Serge. So It doesn't really make sense. It kind of throws me off a little bit, but everybody calls him Serge. But his full name is pronounced Sergey. So you'll have to ask them personally how
I will make that happen. Yeah.
Referred to.
Yes.
International market, I think, was a result of a bunch of things that happened in the spring. The market kind of dried up for available players in the portal, and everybody at that point had scholarships remaining and was in need of players that could, be a part of the rotation or starters or whatever each program needed. And so, I think everybody kind of went from the portal market, seeing if there were high school players still available. And then at the same time, the international market became, an avenue that more schools that had maybe not previously jumped into. And because of the money, let's be honest, the market financially for the players over there, it used to be harder to get some of those guys to leave over there because of being in certain programs and knowing what they were going to make either currently or in the near future. But with the change in the market over here, you're seeing more kids from the foreign countries want to come over here and play. And that's a big reason. And I've coached obviously foreign players in the 33 years that I've coached, but recently with just having Sergey, like my take on it has been awesome. I mean, he's been as coachable as we've had since we've been here. Like he's off the chart when it comes to coachability. Like it's like he looks you dead in the eye and yes sir, no sir, and what do I need next? What can I do better? I mean, it's unbelievable. And he's gotten off to a great start, and he really is behind because he wasn't here in June and July, so he missed 8 weeks of training, but he's picked things up very, very quickly. And, if we can continue to get guys like that, I could see us, staying in that market going forward.
When you look at this roster, you've got a good group of guys that it feels like could play in the back court if necessary, can play in the front court if necessary. I guess the traditional term would be swingmen. Do you feel like this is a versatile roster that even within the game, you can change the way you want to play?
Yeah, I feel like we do have a versatile roster. You mentioned guys that can, move around a little bit in the lineup. And we do have guys like that. Like, Sean Jones comes to mind, an Amir Ali, a Chur, even a Jay Marge, Marion, Davis Fleming. Those guys are guys. Cameron Paul's obviously a freshman, medium-sized guys that like you mentioned, could move around a little bit from the 2 to the 4, depending on, what kind of lineup you want to play. Certainly we're hoping for some separation before the games come rolling around. And even if that happens, it doesn't mean there won't be, changes to the lineup once we get going and productivity comes into play. But I think at this point, there's a lot of competition across the board, and our players know that. It's very unique that way when you're in our kind of camp, if you will, preparing for our first game. You want them to compete for minutes and spots, but at the same time, they know come November 5th, we're going to be, in the locker room rallying together to compete for each other that way. So it's a little unique that way.
You mentioned Paul and Davis Fleming. This is your most highly touted freshman class coming in from a recruiting perspective. How many of those guys are ready to contribute early in the season?
It's a great question again. I'm not ready to make any broad proclamations or guarantees, but we will be playing freshmen. There's no question about it. It could be one, it could be three. Uh, I don't know yet. It hasn't unfolded. I really tried not to. A lot of people want to ask me who's going to start, not just on the air, off the air. I mean, my wife wants to know. And
Josh Hubbard, and then I'll figure out.
I may leak it to her a little bit.
Yeah.
She's sworn to secrecy, but I really try, and I may have said this to you before, I don't remember. I really tried not to put a starting lineup in my head or a top 8 or top 9, because I don't want to box anyone in. I want the practices to unfold, and there's a lot of them left before we have to worry about that. And I may shy a little bit too much on that, where other coaches want to know and they want to play them together. I'm different that way. I want competition. We mix teams every single day. We don't have a maroon team and then another color team, and the maroon team's the number one. It's not that way. We mix and match them every single day. So no one really knows. They don't know. And eventually the cream rises to the top, and everybody in the gym, other than maybe a spot or two, knows. That's why I tell them all the time, I really don't determine who plays. You guys do. I'm not determining it. If I did a poll November 4th, who should start and who should be playing, if I picked 8 or 9 spots, we'd all be very, very close to one another. I mean, we're there every day. So, that's kind of how we look at that.
When you signed Brandon Walker, how quickly did you hear from our friend Brandon Walker?
Actually, I heard from him prior to signing Brandon Walker. I have the text, so certainly wasn't prepared to answer this, but I think it read something like, "Tell me this is going to happen." And of course, I couldn't show my cards.
Yeah.
But my response was like, I think that would be a heck of an NIL deal.
Yeah.
That's not what I do, but it sounded pretty good. But I think he's been on campus since then, and maybe even taken a picture with
think so, yeah.
the real Brandon Walker. Hey, you want to hear a funny story?
Yes.
One day I called Brandon Walker, and I thought I was calling my Brandon Walker, the player. And the Brandon Walker, in his eyes, answered the phone. And it was a little awkward for me at the beginning. And I told him right away, I go, I can't lie to you, man. Like, I thought I was calling the other Brandon Walker. So we ended up having a fun conversation about it. But
Coach, what do you mean you didn't mean to call me? I thought we were friends.
I did make that mistake. And at least he answered the call when I called him, though. That was cool.
He's all about the Bulldogs. You know that.
I do.
You got an exhibition coming up in a couple of weeks with Houston. I guess the Lakers weren't available for you to scrimmage with. You go and get the national runner-up from a season ago. From an exhibition game where you want to play a lot of guys and you want to see, how much can you really take away from an exhibition game like that? Because the level of competition obviously is very high there.
Yeah, I'm thrilled about that. I was so excited when that came available and we were able to get that done. We got a tough non-conference schedule. If you're paying attention and you're following along, it's our toughest one yet to date. And I felt like we've had some challenging ones since we've arrived. And we're very mindful of numbers and projections and NCAA tournaments and seeds in the back of our mind to try to put our players in a position to be able to, be in those conversations and preparing for those games. I don't think we could have found a better situation to have to go on the road. We're not playing in Houston's arena, but we're playing in Texas, and it's an exhibition game. There's 2 games. A&M's playing Arizona State prior to us, and then we're playing in the second game. So I'd anticipate with the Texas schools, there'll be quite a bit of fans there, and it'll be very, very game-like. I mean, everything about it's going to be game-like, and certainly I can't have more respect for a program across the country than I do for Coach Sampson and Houston and their culture and how they play. And I think I would echo what most coaches say across the country. And so the great thing about that is, we're going to know where we're at. We're going to know, what we need to work on. We're going to know, what exposure we had, and fortunately still have time to get better from it and get our players to understand where some of our weaknesses are. And I'm just thrilled with the idea of it. Certainly, we got a long way to go before then, and we have another opportunity before that actually. And I don't even know what the rules are anymore, but we got a closed door situation this Saturday.
Keep it on the DL there, yeah.
Yeah, and it's so good. Like I've been doing this for years now. Other schools are starting to do it as well, but people used to wait for the 2 weeks before and play back to back leading up to the game. So you play a week, have a week off, play, and then have your game. I feel like with the access in the summer and the fall, like kids want to play against someone else about right now. They're really tired of going against each other. So we inched up one of our exhibitions or scrimmages, and it's worked out great. So we'll get a play Saturday. And then the next Saturday, I don't even think it's public yet. So there's breaking news, man. We're going to have an open practice / inter squad the following Saturday, whatever that Saturday is, here at the Hump. And then a week before we play Houston. And then after that, it's 7-8 days before we play real games. So we're about to get into the meat of our basketball season.
All right. Last question. So this is the day on the podcast where Robbie and we do like a Twitter mailbag, right? We ask people to ask us questions, and they're all random. They're not just Mississippi State sports. We're going to give you one to answer. Here we go. This person says, I truly believe in the 6 degrees of separation theory. What's a time you made an incredibly unexpected connection with someone over somebody you both knew?
Jeepers Christ, man. I wasn't prepared to be like
I know. I'm just throwing. I got to do this every week. If I can do it, you can do it.
Oh.
You know what's funny is mine is around you.
Oh, yeah. I wish I had something cute to add to it that way. I'm trying to think of someone that I've met recently that would fall into that category. I just can't think of anyone, Brian.
I'll give you an easier one then. Reese's peanut butter cups. Do you prefer them room temperature or cold?
Cold.
There we go. There it is.
Cold.
That was
Once I get my answer, I'll text you.
Okay.
Not that you're going to share it on air, but
yeah.
I will text you. I'm a preparation guy, man.
I understand. But sometimes, the game gives you a challenge. You just got to be willing to go for it.
Well, basketball is one thing. That's I'm kind of a one-trick pony, man. Like that. Not so much.
I got you. Coach Chris Jantz, always a pleasure to talk to you. Looking forward to seeing you this season at the Humphrey Coliseum.
All right, Brian. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
It's just me at this point, right? But I feel like every year I overestimate Chris Jantz just a touch. Like every year I'm like, oh, this is the year they're going to be really, really good. And last year they probably should have been, because offensively they were. He went out and improved the thing he needed to improve. He needed to be better offensively, and he got there. He could not have predicted how much worse they were going to be defensively, and he talks about it there. He owns it. He's like, hey, we took too big of a step back. I think this year they will be back to where they were defensively. This will be another gritty, grimy defensive team. But I think they have enough firepower that they may find that happy medium that they didn't have last year. And, of course, it all starts with Hubbard, who, I don't think he'll be the preseason SEC player of the year, but he'll get votes.
Yeah, he will, and that's obviously a huge piece to have a part of your team. And it's actually, as far as recruiting players, it's actually been a benefit for State. A lot of people said, well, you won't be able to recruit anybody that can score around that because they're scared that he's going to get the ball. Mm-hmm. More players have wanted to come into this system because of that. Uh-huh. And I think what the big problem last year was they kind of lost a little bit of that defensive intensity, that tenacious attitude, that Chris Jantz style. They lost a little bit of that last year. And they weren't shooting the three ball very well, which was something that he recruited a lot of those players to do, and it just wasn't happening. Yeah. And they weren't rebounding. So he was like, you know what? Screw just the three-point shooting thing. I've got to get my type players back in here.
He didn't have the culture.
He did not.
He did not have what he wanted in the locker room last year.
And kudos.
And didn't have it on the court either.
And kudos to him for saying, I got to get out of my comfort zone here. I cannot shoot the ball like this anymore.
Right.
I had to be three-point shooters, and it just didn't work. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't take that.
Yeah.
you could see it in his face after every game,
Yeah,
how disgusted he was that they weren't
some of those games where they lost and then they gave up 80, 90 points. You could just see how mad he was. But now, between Hubbard and Epps and McGee, you've got some shooters in the backcourt. Amir
And
Ali,
Ali can shoot.
I think he's going to be a big piece for State. And then, down low, I think Ballard is going to help erase a lot of one of State's biggest problems last year is they didn't have a rim protector. Nwoko and Keyshawn, they just weren't good enough at protecting the rim. State consistently had to double team, which left open 3-point shooters. And I think this year Ballard gives you a little bit of that eraser.
And a rebounder.
And a rebounder, yeah, down there that you just didn't have a year ago. I'm gonna I'll just live and die with them, I guess. But I think they're gonna be top half of the SEC. I think they break the 8-10 streak that they've been on the past couple of years. And I think that this is a team that when we get to March is going to be 5, 6, 7 somewhere in there.
It's a fascinating roster. It's going to be a big team. If you look at some of the guys that they added, I mean some of these newcomers, these freshmen, Cam Paul's 6'7", 210. Jamar Davis swimming 6'10", 240. I think he can spell some guys some minutes and get in there and rebound and defend.
I would love for T. Bartlett to be able to
It'd
come
be
in.
great, but I think him getting here late is going to hurt.
It's going to hurt him, yeah.
I think Sean Jones is going to have a good season. I've heard some really good things about King Grace.
Mm-hmm.
And
he mentioned Cameron Paul in the interview.
Cam Paul and King Grace are a little bit different than some of the freshmen that have come in here.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Hubbard, they've been a little different than some of the freshmen. They have been guys that we're hearing their names a lot from practice and things like that. And I think Makura is going to help them out. Mm-hmm. He's going to be able to help a little bit.
Sergey.
Okay.
Sergey. So I asked him all about him. Sergey, but he goes by Serge.
Great.
So it makes it easy.
Like the lead singer of System of a Down.
Yes. I don't know if he likes a banana terracotta pie, but yes.
Is he going to come out to BYOB?
He might.
The key component of this team, I think, though, is Quincy Ballard.
Mm-hmm.
I think Quincy Ballard is a potential all-conference center for Mississippi State. I don't think that we can overlook this addition. To bring in a center like this, especially when you lost your two post guys from last year, you add a guy like this that I think is definitely an eraser, but he plays smart. He doesn't really get in foul trouble. So he's going to play smart. He's not going to be one of those guys where, like, Tolu would get in foul trouble or somebody like that. It's not going to be one of those guys, I think, that we're going to be constantly worried about him leaving the court. I think that he is going to have a huge season for State, and he has been really impressive so far since he's been here. So there's some really intriguing pieces in here. If they can just get it all together, I think that the roster itself, just in its totality, you look at the individuals on it, it is a roster that I think could be top half of the league. I think it could be 8 and in. And I think that should be around where this team's picked preseason. I think Chris Jans he deserves at this point the respect.
Well, yeah.
That even if you have a benefit of the doubt, like even if you have some questions about him in this roster, you say, you know what, it's kind of where Chris Beard is getting, even with his roster. Like it's Chris Beard. And
he'll figure it out.
We argued that, should this team be getting that? And he proved why, because the team went to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
It's kind of that way.
Coaches win.
Yeah. Now, this Ole Miss team, I'm not fired up about.
Yeah.
So I'm
last year's team, I think, on paper was better.
Well, and you had, Sean Padula was a really good ad, and then you had a lot of players coming back.
Honestly, if they had Morrell back, I would feel better about them.
Returning essentially just Malik Dia,
it's tough.
That's a big change. And I think State has enough pieces back that have been in the system, and then they added some impact guys. I think that they're going to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
But how far this team goes, it really just depends on the depth of it, I think. How many players can help you? And what's the guard position look like outside of Hubbard? I like the pieces they have, but that's been an issue for them the last 2 years. The guys they bring in from the portal, they have one or two of them that just don't pan out. They leave the team. They get hurt, whatever. they got to keep this team intact. They got to get everybody on the same page. Jabari McGee has been a player that has impressed so far in practice. I think Epps has looked really good. Ali's looked really good. But when the lights turn on and, Hubbard's scoring and, guys are out there getting opportunities, everybody's got to be playing their role.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been the case for this team. The last 3 years, they've had guys that have, for whatever reason, they've been upset about playing time, or there's been at least talk of an injury.
I didn't ask if I was like, hey, who's this year's Kendrick Clancy or Kanye Clary?
Kendrick Clancy.
Who is Kendrick Clancy? Who is that?
I don't know if that exists.
Kanye Clary. It's
Kendrick Clancy. That sounds like that's a character.
He played football at Ole Miss.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kanye Clary and
the guy before him, Andrew Taylor.
Yeah. Yep. And then before that was Jamel Horton or something.
Jamel Horton didn't make it through the whole year. Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah. So the odds are not in his favor to get everybody through the season. We'll see what happens. So, all right. As we mentioned, tomorrow, Ace Reese will join us. We'll talk some baseball on tomorrow's show. We're looking forward to that. And then, of course, getting into next week, looking ahead to restarting the football season with a huge game against the Florida Gators to get ready for next week. Talk to you guys again on Friday. For Robbie Faulk, I'm Brian Hadad. Thanks for listening to Thunder and Lightning here on Super Talk, Mississippi.